Welcome to Inside the Crease, the podcast from PowerHockey Canada, dedicated to the PowerHockey community, showcasing the sport, the players, the coaches, and the unique and inspiring stories of life with a disability that break down barriers. Now please welcome your host, Matt Vocino.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Inside the Crease. Joining me today is Ishan Manerikar, a PowerHockey star from Alberta. Thank you so much for joining me today, Ishan.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
No worries. So let's jump right into it. My first question is, how did you get involved in the world of parasports?
Yeah, so it was, I've always been like a super competitive guy, and I like playing. I've enjoyed hockey and stuff like that since I was little. And then at church, there's a guy that's in my power hockey league, Randy Martin, and he told me that he played power hockey, and I was like, "What? That's crazy! I want to play." And so, but I was like 8 years old at the time, so we in our Calgary league, we're not allowed to play till 12. And so, yeah, it finally once 12 hit, I played basically right away and loved the first year. And then the second year I almost quit because I was on a pretty rough team. But then third year I switched to goalie, and I've been hooked ever since.
That's awesome. So before we talk about your career a little bit more, you mentioned you were always a hockey fan. Where did that influence come from? Did your parents watch? Did your siblings watch? So how did you fall in love with the game of hockey?
Yeah, it started because, so I've got an older brother who's like 12 years older than me.
Okay.
And he's was a massive gamer. And I really, really wanted to play games with him. But he would play these massive strategy games, and I was like 4 years old, and I couldn't understand anything. He would tell me, like, I'll game with you once you can read. So, there wasn't a lot of common ground, but then he figured out, like, well, he didn't want to play Lego Star Wars or anything like that. And I couldn't play Age of Empires with him, so he was like, well, how about NHL 06? We can play that. And so, yeah, I started playing that with him when I was 4, and we would play like pretty often. And I didn't get to go to a whole lot of games when I was a super little kid. But once I started playing power hockey, I loved hockey even more, and I'm pretty obsessed now.
Yeah, that's kind of sounds like my sort of start with hockey as well. Obviously, big family influence, and then started on the PlayStation or the Xbox. You said you were first introduced to power hockey from your church when you were 8, but you didn't start playing until you were 12 because of the league rules. During that time, did you go out to any games? Did you watch? Like, did you try to learn about it? That way you could jump right into it when you were 12, or what did you do during that period?
I do remember going to a game or two. I didn't really I didn't become like a power hockey fan or anything like that.
Of course.
But it was I did go to a few. I didn't really know what I was getting into, to be honest. I remember the first few years I really just sort of kind of hung back. It was a bit fast and kind of intimidating for me.
Of course.
Yeah, it was not a ton in the from 8 to 12.
And then you said, so 2 years, I assume you played out, and the third year you chose to be a goalie. That's a big decision and a big change. What made you make that switch?
I honestly, I don't know. I think it might have been the super vain side of me that was like, goalie gets all the attention. I want to be that guy. But I don't know what it was. I think honestly it's the sheer glory of the position. And I remember my second year, I really, really wanted to be in net. I didn't understand at that point that you had to sign up for that at the beginning of the year. So I kept asking my coach to put me in net. And then I finally gave it a shot in my second year. The first half of the year was really rough, and then things started clicking for me in the second half. And it was such a high to be able to block the shots and like track things to the air. It was something that I felt like I could do well,
No, exactly. It sounds like you sort of found your niche and what you enjoyed and what you were able to excel at, obviously getting to represent Calgary in Canadian and international competition. So that's awesome. Funny question, but they always say goalies are a little bit unique and superstitious. Do you think that's true for you? And do you have a pregame routine that you need to follow to really be locked in for a game?
Yeah, I'm usually a little bit pissed if I often run a little bit late. But
That's
if
okay,
I
me
don't
too.
get to do the like reverse from one end of the crease to the other like 2 or 3 times, then it's not going to be a good game. It's not going to be a good game at all.
What about pregame music or anything like that?
No, not really. It's usually just the adrenaline on trying to get onto the court on time. That's about it.
You're just like, I gotta get ready, I gotta get on.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I don't usually do that, but like I'll try and pop a wheelie right before the game starts.
I love it. I love it. I can't do it that in my new chair, and it's so disappointing. Ishan, you mentioned this a little bit a few minutes ago. You like sort of being in the spotlight when you're playing and sort of like having all eyes on you. But that brings a lot of pressure, obviously. Like you're the last line of defense. Everybody counts on you. A bad goal can derail your team, right? So how do you deal with that pressure?
I definitely ride my emotions, which is a very like Sith way of living. But it's very, very high risk, high reward.
Choice.
So if I my confidence going into the game is huge. Like if I feel like I can win, I will play 10 times better than if I'm not sure. And so I kind of I like before like I like to know what the other team is going to play like. I like to think how the game is going to go, things like that. But I do enjoy the pressure as long as I'm at least doing okay. And then I don't like it if I start screwing up. But yeah.
So are you the type that gets a little bit rattled if you let in a couple bad goals, or are you able to flush it? No, that's you?
Yeah, just if anyone's watching this that I play against at tournaments or something like that, just get in my head early and you guys have the game. Like, honestly, I am fragile as heck, but like once if I get confident or I get rolling early, then I do way, way better.
So you're like a young Carter Hart, I'll say.
Sure. Hey, I'll take that any day of the week. I will take that. Thanks.
I mean, when he's on a roll, he's unbeatable. But if you get a couple by him early, you've seen from this year, it's not a good look for him.
No.
Obviously, so I guess it's been what 7, 8 years of playing goal. Do you have any career highlights and fond memories from your time in net?
So I've only won the league championship as a goalie once, I believe. I have a tendency to start choking in the finals, so it's been, I don't know. I remember that the first year that I went in as a goalie, we won.
Cam Ward,
what was that?
Cam Ward, you're like a rookie. Who won it?
It was awesome. I remember Sean Paul shot the ball at me once, and I caught it with the back of my headrest and pushed it wide.
No way.
That was awesome. I remember Kevin Phillips once. I was facing the net. I'm a little bit hyper aggressive. It's a problem. And I was like way out of net, and he shot the ball at the net, and I was facing my net, and I spun around and I batted it away as it was on my stick type thing.
Awesome.
So yeah, I don't know. There's been a few saves like that have been fun. I really love the playoffs. I love it when. Oh, I remember this one didn't end well for me. But just like I remember, what was Hugo? I don't remember his last name, but Hugo in our hockey league, he's a rookie player, and I remember when he got his first one by me. He's since gotten it by me several times, but just like how much he lit up. Obviously, I was pissed, but
of course,
it was like good job, man. That was impressive. It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If they're gonna let anybody beat you, it's got to be the rookie, right?
Yeah.
At least they'll be happy.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this a couple of minutes ago as well, but you represented Calgary, your league, at the Power Hockey Canada Cup a couple of years back. Was that, I could be mistaken, but was that your first time playing in an international or national competition, or how much experience have you had representing Calgary?
I went in 2014, which was after my first year in net, I believe.
Okay.
And Calgary had a pretty rough year that year. And then I also went again in 2016, I believe.
Nice.
And that, 2017. I also went again in 2017. That time we did our best. I was super proud of our team. Yeah, we played hard. We played good. And we ended up losing to Toronto in the finals, 1-0. And yeah, it was a heck of a game. It was probably the tournament that I've had the most fun at. And then we also went again in 2019.
Yeah.
And that one was a bit tough for us too, but it was so much fun to watch. Like players like Jake Saxon.
So good.
Oh my gosh.
Those Philly kids just fly. It's insane.
I didn't realize things like that were possible. Like the creativity. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was mind blowing. But while we didn't play super well, it was probably like my personal worst tournament, but it was probably some of the most fun games I've ever watched for Power Hockey. Just the skill, mind blowing.
For sure, it's insane. That was, like I said earlier, I did some play-by-play for that tournament, and that was my first time seeing the Philly team in person, and insane, the skill and the talent that those kids have. It's impressive. Switching gears a little bit, Ishan, if I'm not mistaken, you're not just a single parasport athlete, but you also play wheelchair soccer. Is that correct?
I do a little bit, yeah. I played it a little bit more when I was like 13 to 16. And then I've been playing it sort of on a smaller level, obviously, during the pandemic because Power Hockey hasn't been happening. But that Power Soccer, nothing against Power Hockey, but Power Soccer is probably the greatest wheelchair sport on the planet. I like playing Power Hockey more, but like the thing that I like about Power Soccer is that your physical ability doesn't really matter that much.
Of course.
They've completely leveled the playing field, and I really, really like I like that sometimes. I wouldn't want to make everybody in Power Hockey stick attached because that would be...
It'd be boring.
Yeah, that'd be pretty rough.
Yeah.
But it works for Power Soccer. And it's really helped me with like positioning and passing and stuff like that, like using the whole court. Because I also played out 1 year in hockey, and so like Power Soccer was massive for how I did that year.
For sure, improving your skills. I think you make a really interesting point about Power Soccer. Is you're right, the playing field is completely leveled, and as much as Power Hockey it's not. I think the unique thing about Power Hockey is it's still a sport that's relatively inclusive in terms of allowing people, regardless of their disability, to play and also have a massive role on their team. Like, for example, yourself, you're stick attached, you play net, you're the backbone of your team, incredible goalie. Or you look at some other defensemen in Canada that play that are stick attached and they can really have an impact. So if you could talk a little bit about that, do you still think that power hockey is very inclusive and does a good job at finding a role for people with a variety of disabilities?
Yeah, I think it is. One thing with power hockey, and I'm sure that power soccer would be the same at higher levels, but your role on the team matters so much more. Like, not. I think with power hockey you get and the fact that the playing field isn't completely level physically, you get a better idea of all the different aspects of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's the defensive forwards, the defenseman, the goalie. Even on offense, you'll have some players that are better shooters, some that are better passers, some that are absolute beasts along the boards, and everybody sort of has their own job.
Of course.
And I think that's really awesome. Like I know every player wants to be the guy that scores, right? And the big goal scorer.
The
but
glory.
I find I don't know. I find being a level 3, and even when I did play out, like I got a way better appreciation for like the little details of the game, and it helps you like understand the strategy way better too.
Of course, I think you're right. You sort of get a different vantage point and a different appreciation for everybody because everybody has, like you said, their own sort of niche and skills that they're strong at, right? Whether it be a passer, a goal scorer, or like you said, a defensive forward. You kind of touched on this a little bit, Ishan, but obviously, like you said, you play multiple sports. Have you developed sort of any transferable skills, whether it be from power hockey or power soccer, that have made you a better player in either sport? I think you touched on passing a little bit. Was something that you improved on from power soccer?
Yeah, I think with power soccer, positioning is huge. Like with power hockey, I know a lot of players, and myself included, definitely have a reliance on always focusing on the ball, and just like, okay, we want to get that. But with power soccer, you learn the importance of setting picks, of working other players off of the ball without even touching them, and just sort of getting in their face and managing to get the ball from that. And yeah, I would say those are the two biggest skills. I remember, so I played out in my 5th year of power hockey.
Okay.
And Jacob at Power Soccer told me that I was a mouse at Power Hockey. And I was like, oh, you know what? Screw you, man. And then I got the second most penalties in the league the next year after that. So power soccer has definitely made me more comfortable with like contact with chairs and stuff like that. And being an adrenaline junkie, I like that. It's
Me too. I love it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts of the game. But yeah, I'd say those are the biggest skills for sure.
Switching gears a little bit, full-time university student. You're at Mount Royal University, correct?
Sure am.
What's that been like? You're in your 2nd year, if my math serves me correctly?
Yes, I am sort of in my 2nd year. I only took 3 courses a semester for my 1st year, so I'm a little bit behind.
Yeah, that's okay.
But it's been really good. I live out on my own right now. Like I'm in my dorm right now. It's been really awesome. I love the independence.
For sure.
Definitely some headaches on that front. Caregivers, oh my gosh.
Absolutely. Brutal.
Geez. Yeah, not my forte. But I love going to university right now. Super excited for it to get back in person. They're talking about in person maybe in the fall.
That's nice.
But yeah, I'm hoping to become a criminal defense lawyer one day.
No way.
Yeah, that's my goal.
Okay, I'm in law school right now, so that's good to know. What's your undergrad program at Mount Royal?
It's psychology, and then I'm doing a minor in philosophy.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I guess we've been in COVID like 14 months basically now. Have you picked up any hobbies or what have you been doing to stay busy aside from school?
Chess, which isn't a conversation starter, I know. But I
I'm a
play
nerd
a
too.
lot of chess.
I play as well.
You do?
I
Oh, that's
do.
awesome.
Were you always playing or did you just pick it up?
Yeah, my brother taught me when I was really little. It was something that I would do during recess when it was super cold out and I
Sure.
couldn't really go outside. I always got to pick one person to stay inside with me, and they were going to learn chess whether they liked it or not. And so, yeah, at grade 5 and grade 6, I taught a bunch of chess, and then I just didn't play it much until Queen's Gambit came out, and
Yep.
not until it came out. I started playing like I would say a month before it, like when it was like it's coming.
Yeah.
And then once it started, I play every day now. It's pretty crazy.
It's funny you say that. The recess thing brings back so many memories. Cause that's like they saying to me, too cold outside. Hey, who wants to stay inside today? And we'll play games and play chess. But the Queen's Gambit thing. So I learned in elementary school. It was like part of our math curriculum, which is kind of weird, but like they taught us that. My brother the same thing, and then Queen's Gambit came out like a couple months ago now, and me and my brother started playing chess again, just online on like one of those like ichess.com like websites or whatever. Yeah. And my mom wanted to play, but she had never played, so we taught her. So for the past like 3 months, maybe not every day anymore, but like at least once or twice a week, we'll have like a little chess tourney, the three of us, and play each other. It's funny. The amount of people I know that during this pandemic have picked up chess or started playing after like years of not even looking at the board is insane. It's a little, I don't know, it's a fun little game to play, gets you thinking.
Yeah, I know on YouTube, like the number of chess videos that I've seen skyrocketed just because it's like, wait, everyone likes chess now, and just flooded my recommendations.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. A kid I went to high school with, he's a couple of years older than me. He started a Twitch channel playing chess, and
which is hypothetically the most boring thing you could possibly do.
I know, but I mean, I haven't watched, so I'm not sure if he's very good.
No, but like it works. It works, man. Like the number of people that are like, I don't know. If somebody were to tell me like I'm gonna stream chess games, if they told me that 2 years, like even a year ago, I probably would have laughed at them and been like, okay, well I'll follow you because no one else will.
Yeah.
But it's a legit thing. Like so many people watch chess. It's crazy.
I know it's pretty nuts, but it's a fun game, man. It's competitive and takes a lot of strategy, so I don't mind it.
I love it. Yeah, it's a nice game too, kind of like PowerHockey actually, and that it's kind of what you make it. Like it can be super chill or it can be life or death. Like my family is gonna die if I don't win this game type thing, right?
Yeah, no, totally. I see the correlation.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Before I let you go, Ishan, though, Inside the Crease, we like to do a little fun segment that we call the 6-shot shootout.
Now it's time for the 6-shot shootout. It's 6 rapid-fire questions coming at you, so get ready.
So I'm going to hit you with 6 questions. It's like this or that, McDonald's or Burger King. I'm going to say it, you're going to choose, and you're going to keep on moving. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, my first question. Chocolate or vanilla ice cream?
Chocolate. That's not even close.
I disagree, man. I'm playing like that.
Well, how does it
Batman?
feel to be an inferior person? Jesus.
I know it's Batman or Superman.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, jeez. Okay, it's like on one hand, do I have to decide quickly?
You can debate it. Let me hear.
Okay, because like on one hand, you got a guy who can do basically everything, which is that's Superman.
Superman, yeah.
Which is pretty awesome. And then on the other hand, you've got Batman, who's basically just like a guy who needs therapy. That's really all he is, and has a lot of money. And yet, for some reason, I'm gonna pick Batman like 9 times out of 10. So
Honestly, I totally agree.
I want to be rich with no parents and some like misplaced childhood trauma. That's what I'm hoping for.
And the butler. You can't forget
And
that.
the butler. Yeah, honestly, Alfred makes the whole thing. Thank you.
Exactly. Would you rather watch a Netflix show / series or a movie?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with a movie on that one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, unorthodox for now.
Have you seen anything good recently?
So actually, now that you mention it, I do geez.
Changing your mind, eh?
I'm watching Breaking Bad right now, which isn't a movie.
Unreal.
Yeah, just catching up on that, but I don't know. I see. I think I watch things to talk about it with someone. So I'll watch a TV show if they're like, yeah, I love it, and I'll also watch a movie. I don't have the attention span for a long movie, so I might divvy the movie up into like 3 episodes, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
But yeah.
Made sense. So I assume you're not a fan of the Lord of the Rings.
No. I love the Lord of the Rings. I do love the Lord of the Rings. I watched them when I was younger and just like a better person. But now I don't know. I probably only watch them with somebody.
Yeah, they're too long. Anyways, would you rather live in the city or live in the country?
City. I am a street rat all the way.
Love it. Me too. Would you rather, and this is actually I have 2 more. Would you rather online or in-person class? I think I know the answer to that one.
In person. Yeah.
Of course. And final question. Would you rather face a breakaway or a penalty shot?
Breakaway.
For my own curiosity, why a breakaway?
Because people are panicking a little bit on the breakaway.
True.
And it depends on. I think I roll on instincts a little bit better on a breakaway. If it's a penalty shot, I'm getting in my own head way too much. I'm like, well, they've shot in this corner the last 3 times, so they're probably going to do that again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bait them to that corner, which never ends well. If you're a goalie out there, just don't bait. Like, just don't.
Yeah, just use your instincts, exactly. Made sense. Awesome, Ishan. Before I let you go, we always like to finish off on 2 sort of, I'll say they're hopeful questions. Where do you see power hockey going in the future?
I would like to expand into Western, like the prairies a little bit better. Calgary is sort of the only vestige out here in the unenlightened lands. And BC is definitely a power soccer sport, so I think it'd be nice to infiltrate Vancouver. But
a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
No, I think there's definitely opportunity there, like you said, the prairies and Vancouver, especially if they already have a strong footing in power soccer. My final question, just finishing up, if there's anybody listening to this podcast that is interested in power hockey, what would you say to them and how would you get them involved in the game?
I kind of what I said before, like it really is what you make it. I think that's the beautiful thing about disabled sports event, especially. I know with able-bodied hockey, there's like way more politics and people just live like, you have to make it because my kid's going to be the next Connor McDavid type thing. Like, chill. Well, he's 5, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Disabled sports, para athletes, I don't know, we just get to go out on a Saturday or whatever day your league works on, and we just get to hang out and have fun. And if you're hyper competitive, there'll be games there for you. And if you just want to like hang out and meet people, maybe score a few goals, then there's going to be games like that for you. Like it's make it what you want it to be.
Anyways, buddy, I really appreciate you taking the time to join me this week. And this was fun. We'll do it again soon.
Yeah, sounds good. It was awesome. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us on Inside the Crease, the podcast dedicated to the Power Hockey community. If you enjoyed today's show, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend. Visit our website at InsideTheCrease.com and follow us on social media at Inside Crease.